The Deputy President William Samoei Ruto yesterday taught President Uhuru Kenyatta some political lessons in Kiambaa. I'm not sure whether the president is actually going to recover from the humiliating defeat in Kiambaa. And also, I don't know his next course of action. But one thing I know for sure is that the Kiambaa parliamentary by-election and the results is going to change the politics of the larger Mount Kenya region completely. From those results, Mount Kenya is now divided into two. Clearly. But it's not going to be the first time it's divided. In the previous years, we had Kibaki and Matiba, both controlling certain sections of the regions. Again, in 2002, we had President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was the then KANU presidential candidate, facing off with Mwai Kibaki. But again, Uhuru controlled certain section, Mwai Kibaki controlled certain section. But during that time, all those periods, one thing was constant, that those votes were actually confined to a Kikuyu presidential candidate, either Matiba or Kibaki, or Uhuru or Kibaki. But this time round, the larger Mount Kenya region will not produce a serious or credible presidential candidate. But the mountain is divided. And this takes me to a discussion which was common today online. Who is going to benefit more from a divided Mount Kenya? Is it William Samoei Ruto or is it Raila Odinga? Because the mountain is divided. In Kiambaa alone, they were divided. Beyond that, there is the west and there is the east, that division. But who is likely to benefit more from a divided Mount Kenya region? Please, I'm waiting for your answer. Who between Ruto and Raila is likely to benefit more from a divided Mount Kenya? I'm waiting for that answer. And the other discussion, which was also online, is who is responsible for this division? Is it the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, who has finally managed to divide Mount Kenya into two? Is it Ruto? Or is it Raila Odinga, who entered into the handshake and finally managed to split the mountain? I'm waiting for your answer on that also. But that's not the topic for today. Today, I want us to look at the 5 lessons Raila Odinga must learn from William Samoei Ruto and the UDA party after the Kiambaa parliamentary by-election. Because learning is a continuous process. There are certain things Ruto and his party got right, and Raila Odinga can actually learn from Ruto. But before we go into all those details, if you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Without that support, this channel cannot be where it is today. Please, if you're watching it for the first time, just click subscribe button. We do political analysis in a manner you can't get any other place. So take a second, click subscribe button. And for those who want to join the channel membership, please just click that join button. The process is straightforward. And I don't want to waste time, because time is money. So if I take a lot of your time, probably you won't make money. Anyway, let us get back to business. 5 things Raila Odinga can learn from William Ruto and UDA, especially how they managed the Kiambaa parliamentary by-election. Number 1 is parallel tallying center. Now, Dennis Itumbi was able to relay information, data real time as they receive them. Although there are questions about legality of doing that, because results are actually supposed to come only from IBC, but he was able to relay those information. The UDA party were able to try to attempt to protect their votes. It was efficient. But that's something they actually borrowed from the ODM party. And they perfected it. ODM party came up with this idea of parallel tallying center. The problem with ODM party is that their parallel tallying center is always late. In the last election, they were late. In Msambweni, they were late. In Bonchari, they were late. But of course, from Bonchari, because I followed it, I had a bit of access to their tallying center. Their electronic results were accurate in Bonchari, but were a bit late. The DP perfected all these ODM strategies. Effective tallying center, effective call center. The deputy president was personally present at that call center, where they were calling their agents just to inquire. Their agents were calling in anytime they had issues. So that's something Raila Odinga and the ODM party can learn from the deputy president. The deputy president learned the importance of parallel tallying center from the ODM party. The importance of taking photos. ODM did this in the last election, taking photos of IBC forms. Once they are signed, taking photos, sending to their tallying centers. ODM were doing this, but they were not efficient. Why were they not efficient? Probably a topic for another day. Because I know for sure that ODM system can work, but because of certain reasons, it can't work. So that's number one. The first thing is you must learn the importance of parallel tallying centers. And that's why it was difficult for the deep state to attempt to rig those elections. Number two, which Raila Odinga and ODM party must learn, is to motivate their staffs. People working for UDA, all the people who are working for UDA, were actually motivated. How do you motivate your staff? You bond with them. The DP was freely interacting with them. You pay them well. You make them feel important. UDA had mobilizers on the ground. These people were really motivated. Some of them would receive phone calls from the DP. And I tend to think that William Ruto is smart because he worked under Moi. Moi introduced him to politics. He also learned through Raila Odinga School of Politics. Then Mwai Kibaki, he also worked with him. Then Uhuru Kenyatta. So he understands all these guys. One of the weaknesses in ODM and Raila is that staffs are not motivated. UDA agents were receiving phone calls directly from the DP. Visit, hosting, direct contact. So the staffs are highly motivated to do the work. In ODM, they hire agents. They go to the polling station. Someone is supposed to give them money. They are not paid the money. Someone is supposed to bring them food. Hiyo pesa imepotea. So you have staffs who started working the night before the election day, ODM staffs, sitting there hoping that by 10 labda maziwa na inakwanga mostly maziwa na mkate ama soda na mkate imefika. None. The other side, like in the last election, Jubilee were comfortable. So it's easy to compromise a staff who is not motivated, but it's difficult to compromise a staff who is motivated. So motivation of staffs is also very, very important. Number 3, the third thing which Raila and ODM party should learn from Ruto in Kiambaa is that sometimes it's important to take charge personally. Ruto took charge of Kiambaa by-election. I'm sure he was even making phone calls directly to IBC staffs. He was right there at the tallying centers, following each and every step of that campaign. As much as he was not in Kiambaa, the deputy president was always briefed. He was always meeting these guys, calling, doing everything. In ODM, what normally happens, like in Msambweni, is that someone will convince Raila Odinga that I can deliver. Then, okay, you can deliver, go ahead. The guy doesn't deliver. He doesn't bother. Raila Odinga and ODM would sit back, wait for them to be called to go and campaign there, without following what's really happening on the ground. I can give several examples. In Msambweni, the ODM officials down there told them that the ODM candidate who would have won the seat or should have been given the ticket was Faisal Abdallah. These guys went to Raila Odinga, convinced Raila Odinga they are going to do it. So they identify another candidate, that this candidate was the best. Before they knew, nothing. They lost. So Raila Odinga must learn to start taking charge of these campaigns personally. If he can't cope up with that, then he can delegate someone he trusts. But not third parties, someone who has not even gone to the ground telling you, baba hii tumechukua asubuhi. Umechukua asubuhi aje? Number 4 is messaging and controlling narrative. The UDA campaigns in Kiambaa had a clear narrative. Their candidate was packaged. Someone who was just a son of a single mother, a real hustler who was just selling matumbo, now a member of parliament. Narrative, messaging. On the election day, they took charge of the narrative. They were the one reporting how Jubilee was trying to rig, They were the ones now relaying the information, how they are performing. So the entire country was actually glued to Dennis Itumbi's wall, following what Itumbi was updating. So whether Itumbi was misleading people, that's what Kenyans are following. Whether he was not misleading people, that's what Kenyans are following. The truth of the matter is that by that, they managed to shape the narrative that the UDA candidate was winning. The 5th thing, which is also important, and Raila Odinga must learn from, is fallout. In these political parties, there are always constant fights. In ODM, there's a fight between Joho, Oparanya, they are competing. You go down there, Orengo group, Junet Mbadi group, these fallouts. So when there's a by-election in Ugenya, the other group now leave it. Okay, wacha tuone the way it's going to do it. Then they take a backseat. Ugenya goes to another political party. This other camp is celebrating that amefundishwa. In UDA, there was a fallout, major one, bigger than the ODM one. But William Ruto was able to tame that fallout for the purposes of Kiambaa. And lastly, the last thing is money. Ruto overspent every other individual in Kiambaa, and not only in Kiambaa, in all the other by-elections. He's spending money. And if he gives you money to go and spend on campaign, it is actually spent on campaigns. In ODM, sometimes money is given for the campaigns, it's, in the first place, it doesn't even reach the guys it's intended to receive them, the purpose it was intended to serve. Inakulwa mahali. So Raila Odinga must start learning that politics has changed a bit. There is a way money influences people. In fact, the main reason why Ruto is appealing to the people of the larger Mount Kenya region is because of the perception that money, yes, the money. So everybody is smelling that money, they want a share of it. Selling them hope without money is no longer tenable. Raila Odinga, if you are listening to this video, please, toa nyoka kwa mfuko. Toa nyoka kwa mfuko. Vijana wants to eat. Thank you guys. But let me leave you with this clip. I hope it's going to be there. Let me leave you with this clip. Bye-bye. I don't know the guys, but just watch it. Thank you.